So in the South is mostly Republican, with the exception of Virginia. But there was one state that used to be a swing state, and that was Florida. Florida as a state has 21, almost 22 million people. Might grow past 22 million people, probably by 2025. Florida is one of the fastest growing states in the country. As well. Florida is one of the fastest growing states in the country. This is a state that you would think would be a Democrat state. You would think that, oh, look at the demographics of Florida, okay? Look at the demographics of Florida, okay? Yeah. You would think that Florida, it's a very urban state, okay? We have four major metropolitan areas. You have Miami, you have Jacksonville, you have, of course, Tampa, and you have Orlando. Yet Florida is not a blue state. Almost every other part of the country, the cities are Democrat. But that's changing in Florida. Okay? This is the racial breakdown of Florida. Okay? White people will only make up 51.7% of the Floridan population. Of course, that's what they, that, of course, these numbers vary based off other statistics as well. Well, yeah, okay. But Florida is now becoming basically a Republican state. It's going to become the standalone Republican state. Okay. Florida has one of the highest Hispanic or Latino populations in any state. But unlike every other state, like for example, compare Florida to California. Okay. The Hispanic population in Florida votes Republican. Okay. That is mostly because of Cubans. Okay. Cubans consist of 6.5% of the Hispanic or Latino population. Other large groups include Colombians, Venezuelans, and Brazilians, which also vote majority Republican too. And Venezuela, that's even higher. And even Puerto Ricans are starting to shift Republican as well. But why is this? Okay, as well. And of course, the white population in Florida has basically, voted Republican. But now Florida is basically becoming its own beast of all. And Florida isn't a very religious state either. It is one of the least religious states in the South. And currently Florida has 22 million people. That's the current population. And the demographics of Florida varies as well. For example, you have the community survey, well, they have two definitions here as well. One for Hispanic, and non-Hispanic races, and one that is basically, white alone, black alone, and of course all other races, basically. And a lot of the Hispanics in Florida are Cubans as well. And these are the high births of Florida as well. The non-Hispanic rate has actually increased as a percentage of births, which is very interesting because a lot of people are moving to Florida as well. And of course, Hispanics, that includes Cubans as well as Colombians, and mostly in the Miami area, because Florida is Florida, okay? And Florida has one of the a lot of people who live in Florida, they're basically becoming Dutch Floridan, okay? This is one of the most, Ron DeSantis has turned Florida from a swing state to a Republican state. Okay. The governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has turned Florida from, from a swing state to a Republican state. Florida is not going back anytime soon. Okay. Florida is the new California. So, Florida versus California. what does Florida have that California doesn't? Well, Florida doesn't have nearly as many homeless people as California. Okay, yes, Florida is still one of the top 20 states for homelessness because, of course, the weather in Florida is very great. It's much better being homeless in Florida than being homeless in, Illinois or New York. But Florida as a state is actually cheaper than it is living in as well. The politics of Florida are now basically two different things. Florida is the representation of the far left of America. It is the representation of liberal America, of the liberal part of the country. Florida is representation now of the conservative area of America. And I wouldn't be too surprised by the end of this decade, Florida starts voting Republicans on par of how California was voting for Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. Florida votes 30 points for Republicans each election cycle. Even the major metropolitan areas. Florida, people no matter of race are done with the Florida Democratic Party. The Florida Democratic Party has basically screwed themselves as well. That's why I made the whole video about the Florida poll about which is worse, the Mexican Republican Party or the Florida Democratic Party. The Florida Democratic Party could have made a state that could have easily been a Democratic state. Florida has the demographics to be a Democratic state, but nope. Most people who want to have normal lives essentially want to move to Florida. And Florida has a lot of major cities, and most Florida looks pretty nice. If you look at California, look at LA, compare LA to Miami. Okay, Miami is actually less white than Orlando. If that's talking about not his background. Of course, it might be, and obviously probably is more, once you include the 40% Cuban population, which 80% of that city, the 80% of that population tends to be white, but Miami is actually less white than LA. Okay, despite this, Miami is cleaner and safer than any section of LA. Florida also being one of the two most moved to states in the country besides Texas. Okay, people want to move, the businesses. Florida has a very great economy. Okay, Florida has a very great economy. Okay, it has one of the best economies in the country. And don't look at the rest of the South. Florida might be a recession-proof state. Okay, at this point. The governor of Florida will likely be, Florida will probably, in the coming recession, which is going to probably be pretty soon. Everybody's saying it's coming. But the coming recession, which is coming pretty soon, I think Florida will probably be one of the states to do the best, besides South Carolina and Texas. Florida and Texas are very business-friendly states, unlike California, which has absurd taxes on everything. Living in Florida is actually cheaper than living in Illinois, New York, and California. Yeah. And now Florida is still going to be one of the most moved to states in the country. See, it's going to continue to be the most moved to state as well. And with Florida as well, I think you're going to have way more people being born in the state of Florida as well. I would be surprised if the birth rate in Florida rises like it has been rising the past couple of years because all the conservatives are moving to Florida. And like with most conservative states, conservatives have more kids than liberals in any other area. So Florida is going to become the new great state of Florida as well. I wonder what other states will outtrend, and there are several other states that will trend this way. Iowa, Ohio were once blue states. Ohio was a swing state. Iowa was basically a blue state. All those two states alongside with Florida are becoming as well. And we're starting to see a divide, in blue states and red states of policies and everything. It'll be very interesting to see how America will be, heck, even in 2030. Well, that is 7 years from now. So that's based on this video, and goodbye. And Florida, I think, will continue rising as a state.